gentlemen. Welcome back to the Frontal Access Podcast. I am your host, Steven Russo.
I'm Anthony Gonzalez.
Let's fucking get it. Alright, y'all. So, we had some news happen about a week ago now. Terry Bollea, better known as Hulk Hogan, is in fact passed away, unfortunately. Died cardiac arrest in his home. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. You know?
Yeah, it's a very mixed bag to unpack when it comes to this guy.
It really is, because it's like such a big loss, but like also like a not a big loss all at the same time.
But I mean, the world is probably better off without that type of influence.
Yeah. So I mean, but Terry Gene Boella, um, has in fact passed away. He was born on August 11th, 1953, and he died on July 24th, 2025. He was 71 years old. So today we're going to be going over his early years, the rise of Hulkamania, his many WrestleMania main events, and of course the controversies and everything that comes with talking about Hulk Hogan. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. We're going to talk about Hulk Hogan.
Get ready to step on a minefield!
Because, boy, we got a fucking shit ton of things. Get ready for a mixed bag of fucking praise and detriment, like, all at the same time.
We will talk about the good aspects that were contributed to the sport and the overall bad aspects that were contributed of the person.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be going over today. And now I know a big thing for us here is separating your art from your artist. But, you know, there are some things that Hulk Hogan did that are very questionable, to say the least. But because I like good stuff first, we're gonna do the good stuff first. Let's at least shine a good light on Hulk Hogan in the meantime.
Before we throw all the dirt on it?
Before we throw all the dirt on it. So, let's talk about his early years, right? He started training wrestling. He's in 1977. Hiro Matsuda is his mentor, who's a Japanese professional wrestler, and a very prominent coach, especially to all those people that were coming up in the 70s, 80s, 90s. He was a very prominent part of everything. And Hulk Hogan's early alias was actually the Super Destroyer. I'm like, that just fucking shoot me if you like. Here comes the Super Destroyer. Like, jeez, nope. I don't want that as my ring name. Thank you very much. I'm okay. So I think Hulk Hogan is definitely a good alias that he acquired, and he acquired it once he debuted in the WWF, the then WWF, now WWE.
Yep.
He arrived as Hulk Hogan in 1979. So that's like only 2 years after he started training. So now a lot of y'all might be looking at it like, whoa, 2 years, that's all it took him? And look what happened. I'm like, well, you also got to keep in mind where wrestling was at this point in time. There wasn't much going on, man. You're not doing like back springboards off the top rope. You're not doing these big, huge, like crazy moves.
Oh yeah, we don't know how old you guys are, but the original WWF, there was none of these, flying leaps or anything. It was just two beefy guys going at it in the center.
It was two meaty men slapping meat with a predetermined outcome.
Yeah, it was very scripted.
With a determined outcome. So, I mean, that's pretty much where wrestling was at this point in time. So you didn't really need a whole lot of training. Your training was as follows. Can you body slam someone? Okay, you're in. So, Hulk Hogan would make his debut in 1979. And due to his size and his stature, he was pushed by Vince McMahon, because this is just how Vince McMahon is. Vince McMahon sees a big, meaty man and says, yes, you are a star. That's exactly what he does every time. Sees a big dude.
You are the embodiment of muscularness, manliness.
I need you. And it made you question Vince McMahon's sexuality. But, you know, that's how it rolled at this point in time. Due to his size and his stature, he was pushed, and he was liked by many because of how many humans are that fucking huge. Not a whole lot, so it was kind of like, kind of like a comic book character, just came to life real quick.
But not only that, it was also American hero. You
Yeah,
know.
he was also an American hero. I mean, that's what I was going into now. So he was like portrayed as this patriotic American hero, larger than life, like a comic book character, like a real life Superman. That's pretty much what Superman without the heat vision and without the flying and the freeze breath. So
Just with the
uh,
slamming people into the
just with
ground.
the slamming people and the sheer size of the man. But that's what he was, and I have to mind you now. That sounds very like okay, sure, now, but you have to understand before Hulk Hogan even came around in the WWE, you didn't really have characters. You had kind of characters, but like we said at the start, most of this shit was just, you know, two big dudes going at it in a ring, and the winner was predetermined. They'd do some acting. There wouldn't be like promo cuts. There weren't like stories to build or anything like that. It was just like go put on a good show, maybe make people care about it, and then we're just gonna move on,
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say this when Hulk Hogan debuted. It was really what started the investment into the WWF superstars.
It really was. This is like, and because like, and Hulk Hogan's just his stage presence. I mean, is undeniable. The dude can own a room pretty easily. Especially when he's saying some crazy shit like "say your prayers and eat your vitamins." Like that's just the embodiment of like superhero. And Vince McMahon never had something like this. I mean, you got to think about it. Like the two big stars before we had Bob Backlund, who was just considered to be like this really athletic dude. Like he could do all these athletic things. He can go be a triathlon athlete, and so like he could do anything. He can win a WWE championship if he wanted to. That type of deal. He never really had, and then of course Bruno Sammartino. He didn't have much of a character to himself either. He was just kind of Italian, and that's what we went with.
Yeah, I mean he got a following, which and Hulk really is the character that started having the movement behind him in order to make a following and catapult the whole WWF industry.
And that's just what Hulk Hogan did. He gave you something to care about, and that's why people followed him. That's why people liked him. And to be honest, to this point, like I said, there was only like kind of characters. There weren't true characters. Once Hulk came around, then you started getting true characters, true stories, and something that's gonna keep you coming back.
Because with Hulk like that, it's a character you can invest in because you want to see the story and where they go from there. You want them to overcome things. You want them to get that champion. And before then, it was really just two big meaty guys beating each other up in the middle of a fucking.
And that works for some people, but it can't work for the overarching public community because you got to keep in mind, even though Hulk Hogan was this larger than life wrestling character, he not only was he recognizable within that industry, he was recognizable in pop culture. At the time of like Hulkamania, when that was going crazy, right before he won his first title, right? When the Hulkamaniacs were running wild, brother. When the Hulkamaniacs were running wild. Like that at that time there was like so many kids that were looking up to him, so many action figures were made and sold, and so many like appearances of Hulk Hogan. He was on news shows, he was on late night shows, he was in reality TV, he was in Rocky 4. I mean, like, dude, at that time, like at that first initial push of Hulk Hogan going towards his first WWF championship, bro, that was special. And it was truly special because now it gave us like a blueprint of what the formula, like a blueprint or a formula to what the WWE is now. I mean, ask any wrestling fan on the planet, any wrestling fan, why they watch wrestling. Why do you watch that? It's all fake and stuff like that. Well, I like the story. And that's what most people are going to tell you. The matches are just a bonus. I can tell you, like me as a wrestling fan, I'm more invested in storylines than I am in matches. Like a good match is a good match, but a good match can be an even better match if there's stakes to it, if there's a story to it, if there are characters going at it, and that's what the Hulk did, and that's kind of what led to him winning his first WWF championship in January of 1984. I mean, obviously, Hulk Hogan was the big American patriot. He was the guy you wanted to pledge allegiance to the flag, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. stuff like that. He was the big time American hero, and he was going up against WWF's first like true villain, and it was the Iron Sheik. And I mean, keep in mind, we're in 1984 right now. The Iran hostage crisis just wrapped up like 2 years ago to this point. So when you make a character named the Iron Sheik, and you make him an Iranian sympathizer, you're going to want the American hero to go in there and beat the Iranian. Like, that's just how it happened. Hulk Hogan saw, not Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon saw dollar signs with that. And that's what he did. But, like, he won that championship from the Iron Sheik, 1984. They made such a great villain out of the Iron Sheik over real world circumstances, kind of. And it was at the expense of this poor guy
Yeah.
who isn't actually a terrorist, or anything like that. He's just a character. But at that time, like, you didn't always know that. It wasn't as known as it is now that they're scripted, that it's characters. They tried to keep it a secret back then to make you really think it was real, but it took WWE a while to finally realize people don't actually care that it gets spoiled for you. You're still gonna watch because it's like watching any show or movie. It's like, I mean, have you ever watched a television, man? Like, I mean, I hate to tell you, but in Spider-Man 2 during the Sam Raimi trilogy, a guy who's not actually Spider-Man was not actually fighting the guy that's not actually an octopus doctor. You know what I mean? So, like, um, have you ever watched a television? That's how it rolls, and that's what keeps you coming. And that's always my number one, like, comeback whenever somebody's like, that shit's fake, right? I'm like, yeah.
Still want to see Cena's last run.
I still want to see Cena's last run. I want to see his redemption. I want to see what his character does. I'm like, and they're like, it's fake, right? They're not actually fighting. I'm like, yeah, I know that, but they're doing their own stunts. And getting suplexed is getting suplexed regardless. Getting your body slammed off of a top rope is getting your body slammed off of a top rope. They are stuntmen, athletes, and actors all at the same fucking time. And I tell you, my number one comeback always is, so is every other ounce of fiction. You know? Like, I know that Spider-Man was supposed to beat Doc Ock. That's what they knew about. But I wanted to see it happen. And that's what I think of WWE. So fuck all y'all who are saying that bullshit.
And what Hulk really did was set up the blueprint for that babyface you can all get behind, like the Cenas, like the
Even Cody Rhodes in modern day.
everyone to come later. That wasn't happening before Hulk showed up because it was noticed that Hulk's following was actually helping turn in that revenue for Vince.
And turning the revenue for Vince and just make more and more people come to the product. People wanted to see it. And that's how it went. So when he won that WWF title in 1984 against the Iron Sheik, man, bet your ass that fucking shit ran wild. Everybody that won that title, once he won the title, man, everybody went crazy. They were so happy. The big bad guy got defeated. The hero won. And now he's parading around the ring with a belt in his hand, and he's ready to go backstage and go on the third longest fucking WWF title run in history. Hulk won the first WWF title versus Sheik, and he has the third longest reign to date, like I said, and it clocks in at a whopping 1,474 days as champion, man. Oof. We ain't seen a reign like that since we didn't see a reign like that for a while. The next one we saw like that was Roman Reigns, in from 2020 to 2024. Those 4 years just about, just under 4 years. And like, dog, that was a special first title run, man. It really was. After he won that title, he revamped the championship. He made the Winged Eagle belt that we all know, we all love. That's my favorite WWE championship belt that I've ever seen. I do like the Attitude Era round one a little bit more. But I still love that Winged Eagle belt, And eventually, he would drop it to Andre the Giant in February of 1988, and that would be the end of that title reign. But let's talk about the title reign. Because he headlined 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias, and I think the first couple of them he was the defending champion going in. Like the first 3 of them, or maybe 4 of them. He was the defending champion. So let's talk about all of this iconic run with the first run with the title, the WrestleMania main events that he did, especially during that first title reign. So WrestleMania 1, Hogan and Mr. T were a tag team against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, and that was huge. I mean, A-Team was a big show at this time, 1985-ish. Hulk Hogan was the next best thing since sliced bread at this point in time. Roddy Piper played a great villain to go into it, and they had one hell of a WrestleMania 1 main event. And that's what it was. WrestleMania 2, he main events again. On April 7th, 1986, Hogan, who's the champion, goes in and he beats King Kong Bundy and in the main event of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 3. Now this is the big one, guys. This is the one that's like defies that Hulkamania era entirely. Defines that entire first title reign. It's this retention that he had against Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 3. Now, the big thing about this was Andre the Giant was being built up to be this big ultimate bad guy, and the guy that was gonna stop the Hulk. He's so big, nobody can beat him, nobody can even pick him up. Stuff like that. That's how it was built up. That's legit what the story was. And then Hulk Hogan's like, I'll be the one to pick you up. I'll be the one to slam you into the mat. And I'm going to be the one that beats you finally. That was the storyline. It was all based on whether or not Hogan could pick up Andre the Giant and slam him. And I know it sounds really stupid in comparison to what modern stories are now. But damn, dude. Back in 1987, that was the shit right there. It was the unstoppable force in Hulk Hogan versus the immovable object in Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. That was a great match for every kind of ounce that the word great can say. If you ever actually go back and watch that WrestleMania 3 match, it's not good. But, you gotta keep in mind what the sport was at this time. It wasn't as evolved as it is now. We're spoiled these days. These crazy
I was
matches.
also gonna say there,
yeah,
because this is in 1984.
This is 87.
This is 87. There is no YouTube.
You
don't see stuff like this happen every second of the day if you want to.
Yeah,
There's no TikTok to scroll through or anything like that.
No.
You had TV and word of mouth to get things going.
Newspapers. Yeah, that too. But other than that, the game wasn't as evolved as it now. We're spoiled these days. We see viral clips all the time. We see great matches on a normal run-of-the-mill episode of Monday Night Raw.
How many different, I want to say blood sports, but how much physical contact sports do you get to see in a week?
A few. A few.
There's a shit ton.
There's a shit ton. It was a rarity back in 1987. It was rare. So it was special when it was on. And, you only had a couple of channels on the television, so bet your ass if you got a primetime slot and it was WrestleMania 3, man, your ass was plopping down in front of the couch, and your ass was watching that shit. And if you missed it, well, you fucking missed it. That's how it was.
There was no TiVo.
There was no...
No DVR.
Nope, there was no DVR. I mean... maybe you could read about it in a newspaper if a news organization decided to write about it, but...
Let's write about the WWF.
The editor looks at it, what the fuck is this? Throws it. Get this out of here. I say, as I've written 4 WWE-related articles for the Good 5 Cent Cigar, URI student newspaper. Shout out to you guys. We'll be back in session soon. Anyway, back to WrestleMania 3. The big moment. The match is here. This match is no longer than 25 minutes. That's not a very long match, but that was a long match in 87. Especially with the guys of that stature. They got Andre the Giant. Dude's 8 feet tall. I'm
sure they had Giant just knocking opponents out in minutes.
Yeah, and
before that, he's unstoppable.
And then you have Hulk Hogan, who wasn't small himself. He was 6'7", dog. Yeah, dude had a 24-inch bicep. You know what I mean? That is insane. This was that was the whole build-up was. No way Hulk Hogan could even pick up and slam Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant is unbeatable. This guy, you can't get past him, Hulk. You can't do it. But guess what? That made everybody say, yeah, he can do it, actually. I think he can. This is my Superman. He can do it. And guess what he fucking did? He picked up Andre the Giant, and he fucking body slammed him. That was the big moment. The whole crowd erupted when it happened. This was a special moment, iconic in WWE history. Just if you look at it, any clip, especially if you're first getting into it, you're going to see that WrestleMania 3 body slam. It's such a huge moment because that moment just defined who Hulk Hogan was at this point in time. The hero that you could get behind, that defied all odds and beat this giant fucking dude. You know, it's just a true superhero story. It really is. And then he pinned him for the 3 count after a crispy leg drop. And that was WrestleMania 3. That was by far like the peak of Hulkamania right there. Was that very match. And then now it starts to get a little rocky for the Hulkster here. He would main event um main event WrestleMania 5, 1989 against Macho Man Randy Savage. You know, this was a pretty big one. It was a big match. People loved Randy Savage at the time. Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, that's a big time feud out of that golden era of WWE. And WrestleMania 5, a lot of people, this is the first time that the crowd was actually a little bit divided on who they liked more. There are people that liked Hulk Hogan, that wanted Hulk Hogan to win, the Hulkamania movement believers, you know, the same guys, those same people. Like, they're like, yeah, we want Hulk to win. But then there were these other people that were like, nah, we want Macho Man Randy Savage to win. This is the first time the crowd wasn't fully behind Hulk Hogan, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, per se. I mean, you do like I mean, even when I went to WrestleMania 40, there were still some people that wanted Roman to retain, you know? There were still, granted, there was smaller in numbers at WrestleMania 40 but WrestleMania 39 was probably more split there. You had people that wanted Cody to win. You had people that wanted Roman to win. It was very 50-50. WrestleMania 4, I would say it was like a 60-40 for Cody. Maybe a 65-35 type deal. But you know, regardless, though, this is the first time that not everybody was behind Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan would go on to do Hulk Hogan things, and he would beat him. He retained his championship against Macho Man Randy Savage, and I'm like, okay, fine. Still Hulk. Fuck it, you know. This is when he started a little crack. This is when it really started to come down, when he faced the Ultimate Warrior. Now, granted, in the early 90s, late 80s, they introduced something called the Intercontinental Championship, which is what we call as wrestling fans a mid-card championship these days, but this was like a secondary championship back then. We never had 2 belts before. Never had 2 belts. What do you mean? There's 2 belts in WWE now? There's not just one that you're chasing after? It's not just the WWF title anymore. It's the Intercontinental title too? Like, people didn't know that. I mean, I would say the Intercontinental title at this point in time is probably the most prestigious it could be. You know? Because it was on the waist of this new upcoming guy in Ultimate Warrior. You know? It's just kind of funny to say new when you're mentioning new and Ultimate Warrior in the same sentence, but people love the Warrior. People love to see it when he won that Intercontinental Championship finally. And then people are like, "Ooh, he's got that belt," which is like the newcomer type of belt. But what if he gets the big belt? What if he gets the one that the Hulk has? You know? And Hulk Hogan was like, "All right, look, I'm the WWF champion. You know me. I'm your biggest box office attraction. I'm not. I'm the guy that people want to see." Vince McMahon was like, "But look at all the people that came to see Ultimate Warrior. Do you not see the people that are wearing the same face paint? People like Warrior, you know." And then he's like, "Nah, but you know, it's just a phase, Vince. It's just a phase. They want the Hulk to win this, you know." They want Hulk Hogan over Ultimate Warrior, but Vince McMahon's like, I don't care if they want you. Maybe that's true overall that they're gonna like you at the end of the day a little bit more than Ultimate Warrior, but right now Ultimate Warrior is kind of hot right now, and you kind of fell off after you lost to Andre the Giant the second match, you know, and then because he had already lost his title at this point, but he lost it 2 years prior to this, and he just reinstated it. I forget who he beat for it. Maybe he beat fucking Andre the Giant again. But I don't know. I'm not up to date on my wrestling history there. Anybody that was around for that era after Hulk lost the long time title reign, let me know in the comments. I'm very young. I did not. I'm 21 years old. I was not around for Hulk Hogan at all. You were around for like the last end
when
of
he
it.
came back.
You were around at the last end of it. So, like, neither of us are really knowledgeable on how big Hulk was at the time, but I can understand. That's why we're making this podcast for him. But back to what Hogan's doing. He goes, yeah, but they want the Hulk to win. They want him. And then Vince is like, no, Warrior's gonna beat you. He's going to be the Intercontinental Champion and the WWF Champion. And Hogan's like, fine. And he stomped his foot and he walked out to the ring like a little toddler. He refused to put over Warrior. He really did not. He wanted Hulkamania to last forever. You know? And unfortunately, waves the winds of change were blowing in WWF at this time. People wanted the Ultimate Warrior. People were questionable. People didn't really like it all that much. Not 100% on board when he beat Macho Man Randy Savage. So it's the
See,
first time.
along with time going by and whatnot, at this point he's 8 years
8 years
into,
in. Yeah.
and you need development with your character in order for people to continue to be behind them. At this point, you kind of already know Hulk's shtick.
Yeah, and and it's like people get sick of it. Like when John Cena was running the WWE for 10 years and you had the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." Yeah, it's like that. People are getting sick of the Hulk. That's the nature of time for baby faces. Unfortunately, the crowd gets sick of you and wants to see you fall. Oh shit. But that's what was happening here. But Hulk Hogan refused to really accept the fact that that's what was happening.
No one wants to see that time come to an end.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair at the end of the day, but like at the same time, you have to also know your place at this point in time. Like, read the room a little bit. Like, be like, oh shit, they actually do really like the guy. Maybe I should be a little bit more considerate and not be so determined to keep my past glory. I had my run, I had my run. That's like the point that I think a wrestler should be at this time, but not the Hulk.
I know one of your biggest gripe is that he wasn't putting over people he should have, and this is a big one too.
Like, one of my biggest gripes for Hulk Hogan, especially towards like Anthony said, towards the tail end of his career, was his refusal to actually let the new generation rise.
Fuck those guys.
He said, "Fuck those guys. We want the Hulk to win." And I'm like, dude, it's not 1985 no more. like, it's not 1985 no more. People have something new. And that's what Ultimate Warrior was now. Ultimately, Ultimate Warrior did beat Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan reluctantly put over the Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior had his moment. He had his time. The crowd was happy. He won both the belts. He toppled the Hulk, and that's how it was. Now, the backstage shenanigans would continue towards the tail end of his career here. Let's look at WrestleMania 7.
Gotta love backstage politics.
Let's take a look at WrestleMania 7. Sergeant Slaughter, who goes in as the champion. This way, he had just won that belt. He's on one hell of a run. Hulk Hogan's taken a bit of a step away at this point, doing movies and shit. As wrestlers do at this point in their career, typically. So Sergeant Slaughter is the new guy. He's like, yeah, I'm the dude these days. I'm Sergeant Slaughter. I'm the WWE champion. Hulk Hogan said, "Guess what, guys? It's WrestleMania, and I'm back. I'm back. And who been keeping my belt warm? Who been keeping my belt warm? Nice. Sergeant Slaughter, sir. Sergeant who? Sergeant who? That's a Hulk Hogan saying. Well, how long has he had the belt for? A couple months, sir. Well, he had a good run. Time for the Hulk to win. Sergeant Slaughter, once again, reluctant to actually put Hulk Hogan over at this point. He's like, no, I'm on a run. People like me.
Yep.
I don't want to lose my belt yet. I don't think it's my time yet. Hulk Hogan goes, nah, you gotta get the belt to me. Give it here.
I've decided it's your time to
It's your time to go. It's your time to go. Give me the belt. And Sergeant Slaughter's like, I don't want to. Looks over at Vince McMahon. Vince, he had to give it to the Hulk, man. And then he's like, fuck. And guess what? Hulk Hogan wins another WWF title at WrestleMania in the main event and beats Sergeant Slaughter. Now, at this point in time, people aren't feeling the Hulk too much at this time. People aren't feeling him. Like, what the fuck? Then this next WrestleMania 8, when he goes up against fucking Sid Justice here. Nobody fucking knew who that guy was. And it was just another main. He literally only main evented this because he was Hulk Hogan of this one, and he
Hulk
was
Hogan versus whoever else is coming down from backstage.
yep, and this match was originally supposed to be for the WWF title. It wasn't. Against Sid Justice here in 1992 WrestleMania 8. It was supposed to be for the WWF Championship, but Ric Flair and Macho Man Randy Savage was way more popular at this point in time. So Flair and Macho Man Randy Savage ended up being the match for the WWF title, and that was the championship match. But guess what? Hogan still main evented because guess what?
He's Hogan.
He's Hulk Hogan, and that's what happened. And not so long after this, um, we had WrestleMania 9 come around about a year later, 1993.
I think it was about a year later when the next WrestleMania.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself here. WrestleMania 9's happening. And Hulk Hogan's not even scheduled to be in the main event. Holy shit! Looks like we're finally moving away from Hulk Hogan, right?
WrestleMania without Hogan. Finally.
WrestleMania without Hulk Hogan. Well, thank God. Like Hulk's great. He had a good run, but man, the last couple of WrestleManias weren't all that great. With him
Beat
winning,
my guy Macho.
beat my guy Savage. Well, at least he made Warrior win. You know, at least Warrior won. But then he beat Slaughter. He beat Justice. Like, oh, what the fuck? He wasn't even supposed to be there with Justice. You know, Ric Flair and Macho Man Randy Savage should have main evented. You know. They're like, okay, finally, WrestleMania 9. We're in April of 1993. Okay, no WrestleMania, no Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. We're finally moving away here. Main event of WrestleMania is Bret Hart, who's the biggest star on the fucking roster at this point in time. Bret Hart's the guy right now, and he's going to be facing for the WWF title against Yokozuna, who's the next big bad guy of the WWF at this current moment. A Samoan man who was portrayed as a Japanese guy. Because Vince McMahon said, close enough.
Yeah, you're Japanese now.
And Yokozuna looked down and said,
how much do you pay?
how much you paying? Okay, I'm Japanese now. Originally, it was supposed to be Bret Hart, Yokozuna. Yokozuna was supposed to go in there, win the title, and, just leave. Nah, but right before the match, Hulk Hogan actually showed up.
No, he wasn't even at the WrestleMania roster.
He wasn't on the WrestleMania roster, but he was talking to Vince. He's there. He's like, yo, I don't think Bret Hart should win. He's not ready yet. Give it to Yokozuna. He wants another moment where he can be a big, giant dude and be the hero again, like he did against Andre the Giant, You
said originally Yokozuna was supposed to win?
It was supposed to be Bret Hart to win, and then they said Yokozuna would win. And then, as they're walking out, Bret Hart was like, fuck, looks like I'm not going over today, despite me being the biggest star on the roster. Yokozuna goes and beats Bret Hart with some Hulk Hogan politicking of Vince McMahon. And to be honest, I'm just going off of Jason here. The WWE was never fucking fair to Bret Hart. I mean, he was such a big star at this time. And the WWF was actually, like, about to go under flame for like steroids and whatnot. It gets way worse later. We'll go into more detail later on. But they were in a lot of trouble with steroids this time, so they made the smaller guy the big next big thing. But they never treated him like they treated the Hulk Hogan. Like they treated Ultimate Warrior. And Hulk Hogan didn't really like Bret Hart all that much and said, I don't think he should win. Despite them on screen being best friends, they really didn't like each other, Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan. And then some backstage politicking happened. Yokozuna wins against Bret Hart. And then Hulk Hogan, going to be the hero that he wants to be, is like, I'm going to go and beat this dude that just beat my friend. I challenge you to a wrestling match right now for that title you just won. You just retained, rather. Yeah, let's do it right now, brother. He wasn't even supposed to be in this fucking event. He wasn't even supposed to be in the main event. And he just showed up. There's no Money in the Bank at this time. Money in the Bank didn't come around until 2008. That's way far away from now. So, Hulk Hogan comes running down. He beats Yokozuna for the title. And then this is when it's all out there. People are like, damn, we want to see Bret Hart win. Why the fuck did the Hulk win again? And that's where this kind of resentment started to happen. And in 1994, it got so bad, and Vince McMahon was like, "Look, we're just gonna need you to go." You know, Hulk Hogan left and went to WCW, and at this time, man, WWE's under a whole bunch of flame for steroids. But Hulk Hogan actually admitted it at some in a court trial right before his WCW debut or right before it. But let's focus on Hulk Hogan real quick. He leaves the WWE in 1994 after just winning a title in the main event of WrestleMania that he wasn't supposed to fucking be in 1993. Now he is in the WCW and he forms this new group called the NWO, and he forms it with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. And how the NWO came to be was Hulk Hogan turned on his longtime partner, Macho Man Randy Savage. And then that's how the fucking NWO was born. And now we see a different side of Hulk. Now we're not seeing Hulk as the big hero anymore. He's not a big bad guy. He's Hollywood Hulk Hogan now. He don't need the WWF no more. He's just here because he wants to beat people up now. And he wants to cause some trouble with his buddies. And that is what the NWO and did in WCW. And as soon as Hulk Hogan made it into WCW, formed the NWO, he had immediate championship success because of course he fucking did. Because he's Hulk Hogan. Oh, Hulk Hogan just joined WCW. He's not in the WWE anymore. WWE's biggest star. Cha-ching! Forget all the rest of my fucking talent. Forget your Bill Goldbergs and your Chris Jerichos. Nah, this motherfucker is the guy. We're gonna give him 6 of these damn world titles. Excuse the fuck out of me.
He got gold again.
He got gold again. And again. And then maybe one more time. And all in WCW. Now, eventually, we all know what happened with WCW. They did get absorbed by WWE late 90s, right? WWE wins the Monday Night Wars. They buy WCW. WCW stars who are once competing against WWE for viewership are now on the WWE roster. Hulk Hogan included. And now Hulk's back. He joined an opposite. He left that promotion to join another promotion just for that. For his old promotion to buy his new one. Now he's back here. Now Vince is like, okay, we got the Hulk back now. I'm not so mad at him anymore, you know. And then after the comeback happened, a couple of years later, Hulk Hogan goes in and has a match against The Rock. This is his real passing of the torch moment. He would go into one more WrestleMania in a big time position. He wasn't the main event of this card, shockingly enough. It was Triple H and Chris Jericho who was the main event of this card for the World Heavyweight title. And we have The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Now, this wasn't the main event, but it's remembered pretty much like the main event of. Yeah, let's be honest. This, even though on paper wasn't the main event of WrestleMania 18, it was. You know, it's known for its moments. Now, was it a great match? Fuck no. It was a terrible match. Kind of boring. But man, the impact of the Icon versus Icon storyline, because The Rock's their biggest star now. He was the champion of the Attitude Era, champion of the Monday Night Wars against WCW. Him, Stone Cold. Keep in mind, we're like pretty deep into the Attitude Era, almost into the more ruthless aggression era now. But we're like, while Hulk was away, we had the whole Attitude Era happen, you know? And The Rock's the biggest star now. They got another guy because the Hulk was gone, you know? And now The Rock is an icon in the WWE in itself, at this point in time, 2002, you know?
The most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Yeah, so in 2002, Rock isn't a rookie anymore. He is an established superstar at this point, and now he's an icon at this point. He is known now, and now he's going against the immortal Hulk Hogan, the guy that was the guy before him. You know, the guy that they put all their chips into before him. You know, so the whole icon versus icon storyline built up. The Rock was built as the hero. Hulk was the villain because he was still NWO at this time. And, oh boy, great build-up. Excellent build-up. That goes into what we were saying earlier. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan creating all of this, we wouldn't have a character like The Rock to make a good story.
I was going to say, this is probably one of the best stories in all of WWE.
Yeah, this icon versus icon storyline. It was an excellent build-up to WrestleMania 18. WrestleMania 18, That's one of the best WrestleManias you'll ever watch. You go back and watch that shit. I plead you. I watched it back. It was worth my time. I wasn't born yet at this time, but man, it was a good
You can
WrestleMania.
still appreciate it.
I can still appreciate that shit. So what if I wasn't around? I did my homework. God damn it, you know. And but this was the moment. This was a big time moment for both the Hulk for the Rock. This was a great match. Icon versus icon, face to face, once in a lifetime type deal. Like this is the John Cena versus the Rock, but couple like 10 years prior. You know,
This was the first time it happened.
this is the first once in a lifetime type of match. You know, it was legend versus legend, and well, the Rock won. Yeah, Hulk Hogan actually put someone over because he was like, you know what? Maybe I should actually help this kid out. He did a lot. Hulk Hogan would eventually pass the torch on to The Rock. The Rock would be the big star, is the big star now, you know, and he beat Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan would go by the wayside for a bit, work a part-time schedule, and he would have his last match in the WWE in 2004 against Randy Orton. Shockingly enough, Randy Orton was his last match in WWE. And this is when Randy Orton was the Legend Killer. You know, this is '04 Randy Orton, fresh out Evolution, and he's getting ready to kill some legends. You know, and he had to kill the legend of Hulk Hogan. And his last match as a WWE wrestler was against Randy Orton, and Randy Orton beat him. So towards the end of good old Hulk Hogan's career, he started coming around a little bit, but mostly because he was getting old to this point. You know, he's pretty old by now.
It took him 24 years, but he finally realized he wasn't the dude.
That just goes into that's a character issue at that point, which brings us to our next one. All of the character issues and controversies that Hulk would get into during the tail end of his active years and way past his prime. Now, look, obviously, I've already made it pretty apparent he was very selfish when it came to the spotlight. He was refusing to let Hulkamania die because Hulkamania is still running wild, brother. You know, I'm like, no, it's not, brother. It died in 1985, brother.
No one wants to hear their time's over. No one.
And nobody wants to hear it. Unfortunately, and Hulk Hogan did every way that he could hang on to every ounce of that spotlight that he had left, even if it didn't make any sense, even if it was ultimately hurting the product more. He held on to that glory. He held on to that 1980s glory. The Hulkamaniacs. He held on for that 1987 feeling where he picked up Andre the Giant and slammed him, you know? And naturally, I guess that's just what happens. Nobody, like you said, nobody wants to see their time go. But it gets to a point where you have to realize, look, something just moved past you, man.
Some people are better about it than others.
And some people are better about it than others,
Hulk
yes.
was an example of not being very good at it.
But I would say Randy Orton's an example of somebody that knows it. He's like, I know I'm not the guy anymore. I'm probably never going to win a championship again. You know?
Here's the thing. You guys can give me money. I can help beef some people up on your roster. It's good.
To be honest, we both benefit here. You know? I get to help build up your new roster, and you just get to pay me more money. You know? So, but, you know, towards the tail end of his career, Hulk Hogan finally realized it. Finally realized.
It took leaving the promotion to join another promotion to be absorbed by that same promotion, but it happened.
Mm-hmm. But, obviously, he's very selfish with the spotlight. Another thing that happened during his active years, like, pretty much during the Hulkamania era, maybe a little bit after it, is when he actually tattled on a lot of wrestlers for, like, trying to unionize for better healthcare. Because, I mean, not to get too political on the Front Row Access podcast, but if you're putting your body out on the line for somebody else's profit, for somebody else's product, I'm hurting myself, and I'm okay with hurting myself as long as I get a good doctor, I'd say that's pretty fucking reasonable. You know, I'm doing all of this so you can make money and I can make some too. But here's the thing. My back hurts. Alright? My back hurts. My shoulder's fucked up. I need a doctor to make sure I can keep going and keep making you money. Right? So why not get better health care so that I can be up and running faster, so that I know I'm healthy, so that I know I can keep going? Vince McMahon said, "What? You want what? You want health care? Nah, just take some of that. Take some of the candy on the desk there.
The fuck are you on about?
The fuck are you on about? You want a health care? Just take one of these steroids. I mean, candies. They'll make you feel better. you know." And the bunch of wrestlers were realizing this blatant injustice that they don't have very good health care, and they wanted to unionize, rightfully so, because sometimes corporate can get a little demanding. Now it's not necessarily saying we just say fuck you altogether. It's saying we want to work with you so that we get better stuff and you still get something. You might need to sacrifice some profit, you might need to spend a little bit more, but we'll stay. And Vince McMahon said, well, I shouldn't say Vince McMahon said no, because Hulk Hogan overheard this shit, and he went and tattled on them, and said, "Hey, those guys over there? They're trying to unionize against you. They're trying to get rights. They're trying to get rights. They want health care. Like, come on, Vince, come on, you gotta go stop them. You gotta go stop them. Oh, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Thank you, Terry, for letting me know. Here's an extra $1 million for telling me that." And when you could have spent that $1 million on buying healthcare. But here's $1 million for telling me that. And then that's another blemish on the Hulk's record. The fact that he totally shut that down and what's a little tattletale, a little kiss ass. That's what he was.
Hulk just in his mind, do I choose every other wrestler on the roster or myself? Hey, Vince, come over here for a second.
Vince, I gotta talk to you. He was very selfish with the spotlight and even just himself. I mean, obviously, here he is. His fellow wrestlers, his fellow performers are trying to do something that'll benefit everybody. And it would benefit Hogan, too. It would have. But Hulk Hogan said, nah, no unions for you.
Sorry, thought crossed my head. Maybe he would have lived past 71 if they did.
I'm
sorry.
maybe you never fucking know. But he totally shut down those efforts. He was selfish with putting people over. And now let's get into the big one that you guys are waiting for me to talk about. He was fucking racist, dude. He was so racist. And on top of that, he also had he had the steroid use. Obviously, he admitted to using steroids since 1976, and Vince supplied him with it. And so that was a bad look for the WWF altogether.
Yeah, if you ever want to look into horrible people, look up Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
He's right there.
He's up there, man. He's up there. And but the steroid use, Vince supplied the steroids, so those guys could.
It was also like Percocets and painkillers too.
Yep.
It was not just steroids.
And it was just on the desk, just chilling, like in a bowl, like fucking jelly beans.
I think I heard in an interview they didn't even know what the fuck the pills were. There was just a bowl of them.
Yeah.
Take some of these, they'll help.
Like, that's pretty much what it was. Little did they know, they were PEDs, and they were, like, completely cheating, And then, obviously, that was one of his controversies. Another one of his controversy was this sex tape that he had leaked back in 2012 on the, Gawker website, back when that was a thing. And, it was crazy, because he fucked Heather Clem, who was the wife of Bubba Love Sponge, who was a radio personality at the time, and supposedly really close with Hulk Hogan. So he basically went and his buddy's wife. And Bubba saw it happen. He filmed it, and then he sent it to this website called Gawker, and they posted it on the website to give him some dirt, And Hulk Hogan ended up suing Gawker in return. I mean, I would say kind of fair, but at the same time, you shouldn't have been fucking your buddy's wife. There's no real winner in this scenario here.
No, they're all generally shitty people.
Yeah.
Because I think it was, what's the host name?
The wife?
The radio host name?
The radio host name is Bubba Love Sponge.
Bubba Love Sponge. I'm pretty sure he was the one who filmed it.
Yeah.
Which means he had already known that it was going on, and instead of handling it, he decided
to record
Let's
it.
Get dirt on him.
Let me get some dirt on him and record him doing it, so when he tries to deny it later, he sees the footage. But
then I'll sell it.
And then he put it on Gawker's website, and then, which already pretty fucked. I mean, I get it, dude. Like, Hulk Hogan should have been fucking your wife. Your boy should have been fucking your wife. But, like, Did you have to film it and then put it online?
Yep.
Like, like handle that business like you and him go fucking duke it out or something.
I wouldn't duke it out with him.
I wouldn't duke it out with Hulk Hogan, but maybe handle it like an adult rather than trying to get dirt on them. And then Hulk Hogan, I mean, despite him doing a pretty horrid act, um, it's still his privacy. End of the day, and that's a really rather intimate moment, and
Privacy should not be invaded.
and privacy, I mean, should be protected. Right? And that's just how it rolls. So there were real no like heroes in this scenario. They're all pretty shitty, but um, uh, Hulk Hogan ended up winning the case, but it's because a tech billionaire decided, a tech rival, actually. Let me pull up the notes real quick that
I think it was a tech rival of Gawker's.
it was a technical rival. I'm trying to find the dude's name right now. Fuck you, Snapchat. I didn't mean to open your ass. Anyway, let's see if I can find it. Through my search history here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right. Florida jury sided with him and awarded him $140 million in damages, so he won the case. And a tech billionaire, Peter Thiel, had a long-standing grudge against Gawker. It's one of his rivals, and he had actually secretly funded Hogan's lawsuit so that he could win and put his, because after Gawker lost this case, they filed for Class 11 bankruptcy. So not only did he destroy his enemy, he just defended Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but I mean, he got rid of competition. We're not going over good people and bad people. We're going over Hulk Hogan's life, the ups, the downs, and this is definitely a part of it.
This is a big down point for Hulk Hogan. This one,
I mean, he won 140 million. So.
That's true. So I guess it isn't ultimately bad, but
it depends on perspective.
It really does, but this one definitely is where it gets really rocky. The racist remarks, man.
Yep.
So during the legal proceedings against Gawker that Hogan had going on, there were transcripts of him on a jailhouse phone, just spewing a bunch of racial slurs towards Bubba, towards the court, towards all of them, just bellowing it out there. And then the big one, guys.
The one you need the pass for.
The one you need the pass for. It's the big one, and it was the big one with the hard R at the end of it.
Yep.
And he also, not only did he use the N word multiple times with the hard R in those transcripts there, he also was recorded talking about his disapproval of his own daughter dating a black man. And he said a lot of bad things. He said if she was just gonna go and be with a black dude, at least he could have been with a rich black dude like a basketball player or something, which is terrible. And he didn't use black. He did not use black. He used the big one. He used the big one with the hard R. And footage of that got out there, and it turns out the Hulk was a racist piece of shit, And this was in 2015 that this happened. It was 8 years prior to that he had said those things about his daughter, dating the black man.
And once it was out, his character as it was, he was immediately stripped from the Hall of Fame.
Yep, he was retracted from the Hall of Fame. WWE took down all the merch on his website. Like, Hulk was done. And to be honest, fair. Good on him. They did the right thing there. But then 2 years later, Hulk Hogan comes back after a couple I'm sorry's, and I'm going to go educate myself. After a few of that, he comes back to WWE and says, "Yo, can I go back in there?" And then they're like, "Sure."
Limited time merch.
Sure. And then they let him right back in, which bad on the WWE's part for letting him back in. Personally, I think a lot of people might say that it was an overreaction with the 2016 bullshit, but I think that was proper reaction, personally. But ultimately, it is what it is. It's a private business. It can do whatever the fuck it wants to do. So they put him back into the Hall of Fame. They put him back on the merch website in 2018. So this period, I like with the sex tape, with the racial slurs, it's a big contrast from the Hulkamania that he was at. that he was at before. You know, the wholesome American hero. It turns out there's a saying out there that says never meet your heroes, because they'll just disappoint you. I think that was the case with Hulk Hogan at this current moment, and just even even now. I mean, I will always respect, like, it makes it hard because there's so many controversies and a lot of things that I just can't defend. You know, about Hulk Hogan's like personality, like
Guys,
Terry
keep
Boella.
keep in mind how different this podcast would be if he wasn't that type of person. Like,
Yeah,
what was there? 5, maybe 10 minutes earlier on SmackDown about his illustrious career and whatnot
yeah,
when he passed. It's gonna be not out. Well, yeah, I guess outshined by all the shit that he did and got into after the fact and how he really was.
and it makes it hard to look at it with like light. You know what I mean? Despite all the controversy, and granted, it's rather recent. Like this sex tape got released in 2012. The racist remarks were exposed in 2015.
All of this
Like,
stuff is after he had already been retired from the WWE, but all it does is toss dirt on the legacy that he had left.
so, and on top of that, I mean, yeah, he always had the not wanting to put anybody over, which that's an easy gripe on his character in general, but like it's something that you can kind of understand. I mean, not that it makes it in any way okay. It's something you can kind of understand as to why it happened. I mean, we have plenty of instances where like big time stars that are big at the moment don't want to put over anybody new because John Cena did it. Like, come on. Like, that nobody wants to take away from their own spotlight, but you can kind of understand that. But when it comes to the personal shit, man, that Terry Bollea did, like, ugh, Jesus Christ, like as a talent, Hulk Hogan was amazing. Like, he is truly what made wrestling what wrestling is now. But it makes it hard for me to look past it. I mean, I try to separate art from artist as best I can. I really do, and I will always acknowledge what Hulk Hogan did for professional wrestling. You know, he's on my Mount Rushmore for greatest wrestlers of all time, despite everything. You know, but because it's just objectively true. It's like completely like WWE isn't where it is now if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. But god damn, man, I will never ever defend Terry Bollea, the guy. You know, I will never ever defend him. I actually don't really like the guy all that much. You know?
Now, when I pitched this idea to Steven yesterday, it was centered around the subject matter of separating the art from the artist. Because we can acknowledge how great Hulk Hogan was, while also acknowledging how awful Terry was.
Yep.
And that's true with a lot of things, because just because one part of something is some way doesn't mean that it has to detract or can detract from the rest of it. Like, we don't want the mix to destroy the legacy left behind.
Hmm.
It's just putting it in a different light when you know how it was behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it definitely. I can't help but like. Obviously, it's been quite the complicated like week when it comes to that stuff for me because like on one hand I'm like, world's probably better off without a racist around, you know. But at the same time, that's still the guy that made what I love to watch. I watch wrestling at weekly. I watch it every Monday. I watch every Friday. I watch every PLE.
He doesn't watch all these Saturday main events.
No, fuck that shit. But I don't watch all the Saturday night main events because you decided to bring back fucking Goldberg. But and you had Jey Uso lose his world title so that Gunther could get a match against Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. That's stupid. But regardless though, I watch every Monday, every Friday. I'm tuning in. I mean, granted, WWE is, despite it being SummerSlam this weekend, has been a little stale as of late. I'll be real. There's not much build up to the 2 night SummerSlam, which is insane. Like they didn't. It seems like they built up more to the friggin' Goldberg match than they did SummerSlam.
I mean, we can mention it here since it's wrestling review. Is 2 weeks enough to do build-ups?
Absolutely not. Especially not for an event like SummerSlam. I can get it if it's like a one of the smaller PLEs,
King or Queen of the Ring.
like a King or Queen of the Ring, or like a Payback, or like a Fastlane, or something like that,
Crown Jewel?
or like a Crown Jewel. I can understand a 2 week build up for that shit, but I can't for SummerSlam. That's the second biggest event of the fucking year. WrestleMania is the biggest, obviously,
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. Those need
and
more.
and Survivor Series, I would even say. Money in the Bank too is an important one, but it's just like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Those and Money in the Bank, I would say, are like the big four that you need to watch. I would say the Royal Rumble here because the Royal Rumble is important, but it's important because it builds to WrestleMania. So I just kind of include it with WrestleMania. WrestleMania is a three package deal. It's a Rumble, Chamber, and then Mania. So it's all like a package deal, at least in my book. So
Yeah, so why doesn't SummerSlam have 3 things leading up to
that's
it?
what I thought they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna do that with King and Queen of the Ring, like they did it last year, and I think last year's build up was perfect. You had the King of the Ring, Gunther wins against Randy Orton, and then you have Nia Jax win, and then she goes on to face somebody at SummerSlam. Like the King of the Ring tournament not only becomes a reason, King and Queen of the Ring tournaments not only become a reason to tune in every Monday and Friday, but ultimately there's a match already made, like a big match that's already going to be made for SummerSlam, and I thought they were going to do that. And it looked like they were gonna, because they did have a King and Queen of the Ring, but then they just started bubbling up the Saturday night's main event. It took away from it, and just like they should have taken the entire month of July to just build up to that. To just build up to fucking SummerSlam. But regardless, though, back to Hulk Hogan. Back to Hulk Hogan. Now it's been complicated for me this week because I'm like, on one hand, he was a piece of shit. Yeah, Terry Bollea, man, he sucks. That dude's awful. But like Hulk Hogan is the reason why WWE is the way it is now. If it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for his character, if it wasn't for his persona, granted it was simple and it was corny and cheesy back then, but it was something back then.
Big things start small.
It was
Same with the tree.
Exactly. Like it was something, and if it didn't have that blueprint, WWE isn't what it is now. It probably would have never taken off the way it did if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. So, like, ultimately, I do want to say overall, my memory is going to be more positive for what he did for the sport in his earlier years. At the end of his career, not so much. He wasn't that great for the sport. He was a little bit of a cancer at that point. But, like, from 79 to, like, 87, that time period was Hulk's time. And that's what it needed to be, because then we create all these other characters, we create all these other storylines, we started making special events for things, we started making weekly shows because of Hulk Hogan. So ultimately, I can't help but just have mixed feelings about the loss of Hulk Hogan altogether. I'll acknowledge what you did for professional wrestling. I have a picture with Hulk Hogan. I met the guy, and last, not even a year ago, I met him at the end of August last year, and I took a picture with him.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was telling you that he was coming for a signing. You didn't acknowledge it, and then when the signing was happening, I asked what you were doing, and you said you were going to the signing.
That just goes to show how complicated my feelings on Hulk Hogan are. But I ultimately went, and I'm happy I went because now he's dead. But Terry Bollea, man, you suck. But Hulk Hogan, you're a fucking god.
I'll say, Hulk Hogan, you are a great wrestler. Terry Bollea, you are a horrible person.
And I think that's just where it's going to be. And that's how it's going to be for the rest of my life. I will just always have mixed feelings on Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan. They're two completely different humans. So yeah, let us know if you want more biography specials like this. I mean, this is Hulk Hogan. I've only done one of these. I did one on Cody, like 2 years ago. I haven't made another Superstar Spotlight since then, so thank you, Anthony, for pitching the idea. That was a good one, and it was fun researching what he did and seeing, revisiting my wrestling history a little bit, and seeing both the good, the bad, and the ugly of all of Hulk Hogan's career and life. And so yeah, that's how I'm gonna say. As a guy, fuck him. As a talent, fucking amazing. And that's just where I'm gonna have to leave it. What do you got? Anything?
No, I think that sums up very well.
All
Great
right.
wrestler, horrible person.
Yeah, it's the legacy of Hulk Hogan, baby. We'll see y'all next time.